Hello. I thought of wearing this due to the topic currently at hand. This Christmas, Toronto will once again host the RIS conference, which is the Reviving of the Islamic Spirit, or as I and other ex-Muslims like to call it, the Reviving of the Islamist Spirit. Because apparently the word terrorist is too harsh for sensitive Canadians to use. Now, excuse me, but I have to take this filth off my hand. Much better. This event is the very definition of a male-dominated Islamist supremacy propagation that is happening at the Metro Toronto Convention Centre from December 20th of this year to the 22nd. Congratulations to Canada. You are once again hosting the largest Islamist extremist conference in all of North America. So hurry up, run and get your tickets before they're sold out. Apparently it takes 3 full days for this event because they have a lot of ground to cover. Please do go visit the description where you are going to find some links. Please do click on those links and go through them, because I get the sense that you're going to find their content quite fascinating. You're going to get to see insight into who the attendees of this event are, as well as their teachings. One of the many people who are going to be attending the Reviving of the Islamic Spirit conference is the Islamist psychopath Siraj Wahaj. Siraj Wahaj was identified in U.S. court documents as an unindicted co-conspirator in the 1993 World Trade Center bombings. These would be the bombings before they finally took it down 8 years later. Oh, and his son is also famous, by the way. His son was arrested not once, but twice by the FBI for setting up as well as running childhood terrorism training compounds. One was in New Mexico and the other one was in Alabama.
The horrors of that compound have been torn to the ground, but the memories of what happened here may never go away. 2 of the teenage boys rescued from the New Mexico compound described to FBI agents watching as Siraj Wahaj performed an Islamic exorcism on his own son.
I think my son can be a little bit, maybe a little bit extreme. When I say extreme, not radical, killing people and stuff like that, God forbid. I've never seen anything like that in him. But just, he just a little bit, sometimes a little bit,
So I guess it's not too ironic to go visit the website Reviving the Islamic Spirit only to find a countdown timer leading to their event. And just so you know, they do this in the city that I'm in too, by the way. We do have a convention center here that frequently gets rented out for these types of events. They rent out 2 rooms, one on a higher level that is reserved for men, and one on a lower level that is designated for women. And then you have the catering services, which are gender apartheid as well. Female caters only to the women room, and men only to the men's room. And of course, it's all halal food. Interestingly enough, there's never any complaints about this. Apparently, it's okay with everyone. Never hear anything about it in the news. Never hear protests to shut it down by mobs, never hear anything about hate speech, sexism, misogyny, or any kind of phobia, which I find fascinating. Why do you think this is? Our very own PM Blackface attended one of the Reviving of the Islamic Spirit conferences in the past, where he stood there and spoke highly of it and what it represents, just like a moron Hawaga politician would. Now, perhaps we should introduce a gender analysis study before this conference is allowed to move forward. Because I don't know about you, but I can sense a bit of a gender imbalance going on in this space. What do you think? Also, would you like to know why they refer to the women in their little jihadi indoctrination radicalization panel as sisters? This stems from the view of Islam that women, number one, cannot lead, and number two, are considered awra. Awra means a sin that needs to be covered up or hidden. So as such, we must immediately be demoted to being less than an equal. And in Islam, a woman is worth half the value of a man. This is in Islamic Sharia. So as such, they refer to us as sisters because we're worth half the value of a man, as well as we are known to be subordinates in Islam, especially the women that belong in your family. Add to that you're not allowed to lust after a sister, are you? So if you look at the women in that panel, you will find that the majority of them are wearing hijab. Throwing the hijab into the mix, now you have fully insulated, isolated, as well as shamed the woman. And of course, a youth program is critical in these events. They try to throw in some fun activities like art, a bazaar, so that the youth are having fun as they're getting actively brainwashed. And they don't complain. The ugliness, of course, is reserved for later, after the mind subversion is completed. Then the reviving of the Islamist spirit jihadist radicalization conference is going to finish it all off by a movie premiere. The movie, so typical, is called Al-Qiyamah. Al-Qiyamah, by the way, literally translated into English, means the end of times, or Armageddon. And this is done in order to solidify and lock in the brainwashing with a final dose of fear. And nothing new is going on here. This is how Islamic radicalization and indoctrination has been occurring throughout history. This method transcends time because the success rate of converting those who are lost enough and desperate enough in life has been unbelievably high historically. You cloak something as sinister as this in the context of it being spiritual, add the sense of a united family by using words like brother and sister, and then throw in the term God with all the weight that it can carry, and then some buzzwords. And this will always help the cause because people who need saving do not tend to question the divinity of such things. This is no different than how cults operate. Regardless the words that they're using to attract young minds, words like stimulating or interactive, I can guarantee you none of that is going to happen in this event. Because Islam teaches us not to question. To question is considered shirk. I know this because I've been there and I've done it. Why else do you think words like Islamophobia exist? Why else do you think blasphemy laws exist? This is, in fact, how they brainwash us. And I wanted to give you some context before I go into the words that these people who propagate political Islam on a global scale like to use. Spiritually centered is code for cloaked brainwashing. Interactive and mind-stimulating is actually code for no argument is allowed. And power talks is how they radicalize. You know what I'm interested in seeing is which one of your car salesman politicians is going to be at this event. Because those are your third world banana republic politicians who are literally spitting on the graves of your fallen soldiers. What more do you need? Tell me, please. You now have a conference of the who is who of Islamists. They are hosting terrorists and extremists in your country. And yet Canadians want to pretend it away. Everyone in this conference spewing this crap that I, along with so many others, suffered under and then escaped, should be under surveillance by the RCMP and all the intelligence bureaus. That's what should be happening. But how brainwashed have we become that we now allow this to occur? What will it take for you guys to wake up? Because we are in a war and your politicians have been bought by the enemy.